Hello everybody, this is James from James Workshop, and we're looking today at the oversaturation of what Warhammer Games Workshop are releasing in their mainstay items. And as we know, from what's going out for pre-order tomorrow, it's the new edition of the Warhammer Heresy. But you might say, oh, a couple of weeks ago they just dropped the box. Yes, they did. And now they're breaking the entire box down into individual units. They've never done it like this before, let alone this quickly. The Horus Heresy box set, the new edition, has not sold. Hobby shops are selling this at cost. No one wants it. There are some good models in here, but only a couple. Horus Heresy is a failure, and Warhammer are wasting their time even supporting it at this point. So, we'll just have a quick look. This is an awesome model, you know? This Praetor, probably the best Praetor they've released. I will pick one of these up at some point. Probably won't pick it up for whatever the actual retail price is, because God knows it'll be like $80 or something ridiculous. Australian. Got some awesome builds there. Then you've got the Terminator Squad. They're cool. I'm not going to touch them. Not for me, but I know some people might pick those up. The Dreadnought's awesome. It's so cool. I don't know if I care for the big shoulder pieces, which obviously is the main part which is the throwback to the old Terminator armor. But the actual model is actually really cool. And lots of weapons. And then you just get to all the random shit in there. No one needs this. Might grab this maybe if you're doing a conversion for your Space Marines. No one needs this. People that play Horus Heresy don't need this. This is, all it is another weapons upgrade set, and I would imagine a lot of the Horus Heresy players themselves already have magnetized their guys' weapons. And if not, they might just proxy their models anyway and just say they have these weapons or whatnot, instead of building a whole nother squad with another random weapon. This just looks terrible. It takes up so much space. This, I don't know, this anti-air gun thing. Drop pod, no one cares about drop pods, man. And that's it for what's getting dropped. So obviously, they've broken down this box set. This box set released for Games Workshop retail price, $5.30. Most retailers sell, so most hobby shops retailers that aren't Games Workshop sell it for 20% less. So that means, because I believe retailers can purchase items from Games Workshop at 60% of the retail price. So then they sell it at 80%. Everyone makes a nice cut. But you've also got to factor in postage costs and everything else, whatnot. And postage can be expensive, especially with these bigger box sets. They're basically getting sold at cost now, minus postage. No one wants this. It's been a waste of development. And the problem is yeah, you know, they want to support their new game, Horus Heresy. It's been around for a few years as the second edition, but no one asked for this. It's... Just imagine if they brought forward other products they were releasing. So in case you didn't know, Games Workshop work on a 1 to 3 year rotation of products. So they design, finish it, and then it's pretty much ready to go. Probably give or take a few minor changes and, I don't know, graphics and shit like that. But I think this is going to be a great learning lesson for Games Workshop, is to stop focusing on the other items you have available. Focus on your two mainstays, 40k, I'm going to scroll up here, 40k and Age of Sigmar. Funnily enough, they're your first two in order. They're your two biggest platforms. Horus Heresy is a dud. It's exactly the same as 40k. I mean, I understand the rules are different, and I understand that they've kind of changed the rules a little bit for the new edition to be more like 40k. But the problem is, no one wants to paint another Space Marine army that you can't even use in your 40k army, and the models don't even look as good. It just sounds like a lot of work for almost no reward. And then you've also got the old world, and this is a good, massive throwback to the fantasy world. It's the exact same models, same units. I think they've made a couple of new models, and they've also recently started releasing the Grand Cathay, which is the Asian-inspired army. So if you want to see what that's like, you can also... Well, models are already out, but it's also in Warhammer Total War. It's great that they've added that, but we'll talk on that later. So obviously, Horus Heresy, Saturine box, the new edition, failure. And Warhammer are probably scared. They're probably afraid of what they have to come. And they're probably going to, and I recommend they rejig everything and they re-look at what they're releasing soon. 40k and AOS are your two big platforms. Most people that are big into Warhammer, they might only have one army for 40k and then nothing for AOS. They probably grab models from both sets for different armies, everything. Everyone FOMOs, and everyone FOMOs in Warhammer. No one FOMOed for this. No one wants it. Scrap Horus Heresy. Release individual units like this guy, and then maybe these guys. Drip feed new stuff over time, once a year. And then leave it at that. And if you want to do big changes, just update, bring out new editions with just a couple of models and just new rules. Don't do big boxes. No one wants this stuff. Just support it. You have a player base, but at least here in my state in Australia, no one plays it. No one wants it. It's dead. And just going through, I was just looking around. It's like, what else, obviously, could you do in Horus Heresy? And this is what they could do. Everything else that you could use in Horus Heresy, and some of the stuff you actually can use in 40k, funnily enough, all this stuff actually has application for both game systems, which you can't say for all the actual releases for Horus Heresy, is all this Forge World stuff. You can use quite a lot of this stuff in both systems. All the Custodian stuff, which we will touch on later. All this random stuff. Re-release this as normal Warhammer and make sure there's rules for it in 40k, and that way you can support Horus Heresy, but at the same time you're releasing stuff for 40k. People will buy it, people want it, and a lot of the Forge World stuff is probably the better designed stuff. And we all know the resin stuff from Forge World isn't the most reliable. There's a lot of prep work that needs to go in. You need to clean it. You need to sometimes bend and cut stuff to make it all fit. Re-release some of this stuff. People will buy it. People want a bloody Thunderhawk or a Stormbird. Re-release this stuff. Make it available for both. That means you can release stuff for Horus Heresy, but it's usable. Best thing you can do for Horus Heresy. Put it to the side and make sure if you want something for it that it's also wanted in 40k. That's the easiest thing you can do. Now, this is what was up for pre-order this last week. So we just looked at also what is coming up, which is all the crappy Horus Heresy stuff. There's been some really cool stuff in 40k. Space Wolves, their massive new redesign is awesome. A nice new Tyranid Combat Patrol, which has lots of Tyranids that are not available in any of the starter sets or the initial edition set. Black Templars, you know, it's a good way to start a Black Templar army, I'm sure. Then you got the Grey Knights, and funnily enough, they're releasing a Battle Force on top of the Combat Patrol. Now, I've got a big, massive issue. So, they've just spent all this time working on and releasing the new edition with all this time and effort wasted in Horus Heresy. Meanwhile, the Grey Knights. In both of these box sets, there's one new model in both. And the rest are old, decade plus old miniatures. You've got Castellan Crow there. He's one of the best Space Marine models you can buy for a Space Marine, just on pure design. And then he's surrounded by these midget, tiny, old Grey Knight Space Marines. I don't know why you're releasing all this. Release, just honestly, put this on a deep sale, scrap it all, don't make any more, get rid of the sprue designs, and just release a Grey Knights army. You don't even need to do much. All you need to do is release a Terminator squad and a Space Marine squad with the varying different weapons. That's only two sprue things you need to make. That's so easy. You don't even need to update the Dreadnought. You've already got all the Dreadnoughts and Space Marines. You just need to make an upgrade sprue for the Dreadnought that has Grey Knight's iconography that you can just plop on top. Or it can replace the parts. There's a lot you guys can do. And I think it's funny enough, you've released one of the best Space Marine designs in the Castellan Crow, but then you've got this baby carrier. It looks terrible. I've seen some good workarounds how people have made this thing look good. You guys are forsaking one of the best lore armies in the game with models that are older than probably a lot of people that even play the game, and it's a joke. I currently still have next to me my metal Grey Knight Terminators, and they look sick. They're metal. I think they even look better not painted metal after I stripped them. They look the same though. These models are like 25 years old. I can't believe you guys are still releasing in big boxes 20-year-old models. Get a grip. People will buy this stuff. And, mind you, they are releasing stuff that we want. Look how they've been slowly drip feeding and updating the Imperial Guard. You guys have released the Krieg army slowly and surely, and I'm loving it. And I like the pace you're doing it. You're not just going, boom, here's the massive army. You're building it up. And you're starting to do that with the others. I hope they do the Catchatan soon. I'm trying to find it. You've been doing the Attilian on top of the Krieg. I hope you guys continue this, because the Astra Militarum is not just the Cadian army. Obviously, that's what we always see is the Cadians, you know? But that's just one military force for one planet. Obviously, they're the biggest, but there is heaps of planets and heaps of cool themes. I really hope they do a kill team soon with the Catchatan Imperial Guard, and they could do a kill team versus some of the monsters from Catchatan, and that'd be a really cool way to then include those monsters into another Warhammer 40k quest thing that you'll probably release in the future, because you've released monsters anyway in the last 40k quest. So keep doing what you're doing in the Imperial Guard, but please apply this to other armies. You could do that with the Grey Knights. You don't need to do a whole massive release. Just literally drop a new sprue. Do something. It's kind of pathetic. And as I said before, you've got the Custodians. You can build a full army of the Custodians. That's more than just the plastic pieces. But then you need to go to the Forge World. I think as a joke, if I was to play GW retail prices, I would pay $105 for this sprue of the Garter Wardens. And then I would need to pay an additional $40 or $44 for resin Forge World guns that I can't even buy right now, just to have a different model. And then you've got all the tanks. And then you've got the Contemptor Dreadnought with the spear. And then obviously the Heavy Dreadnought. Re-release these things. Bring it out. Make it modern. Make it not resin. Just drop a model in the random week. People will buy it. You guys have been forsaking all these armies, and that's not even it. You got the Drukhari. These guys are so old. These guys need a massive range release, but so do the Eldari. And if you guys wanted to drop a new army, do the Exodites as well. Give the elf lovers some love. Elf lovers, elf players some love. This army, now that you've done you just did the Slaanesh 40k army, this is a great time to now focus in on the Chaos Slaanesh side and do the Drukhari. Please make that a priority. I don't even like the Drukhari aesthetically, but the people that have been playing this army have been forsaken. You did a really cool range refresh of the Eldar, and you haven't finished that, and you need to do more there. But the Drukhari players need their time. Now, obviously, you've got the other two main systems, AOS and the Old World. Now, if you don't know, obviously the Old World ended, and it went through, the world kind of blew up and whatnot because of the Skaven blowing up the moon or the world or whatever. And then it became Age of Sigmar. Age of Sigmar is awesome. I don't play it myself, but these guys, and I love what they do. The best part about AOS is every army has a big centerpiece model. Every army does. Some of them have multiple. Just look how sick all of these models are. I kind of wish we did this in other armies, but what you might have noticed with AOS and what they need to do with 40k is AOS, they rotate through the entire range. Sorry, my dog is running around. They rotate through the whole range, so everyone gets some love. A bit of love every now and then. In 40k, you can go 20 years without any love. And it's pathetic. We need more focus in 40k. And we need Warhammer Games Workshop to kind of treat 40k, even though it's the mainstay of the whole Warhammer ecosystem, we need them to treat it more like AOS. And moving on, AOS is in a great spot from all things considering, model-wise, gameplay-wise. It's not as popular as 40k, but I guess it kind of depends on where you are as well. You've got the old world, and they've done a fantastic job. And these kind of don't overlap as much. They are different games, but it's more of a throwback to people wanting to play the old system. I know a while ago I was looking to buy some models on eBay, both sealed, unsealed, Tomb Kings, and then they said this is coming out. I haven't actually bought anything yet because I'm trying not to FOMO buy, but I'm glad they have this, and there's not as much overlap. I feel like the two different game modes, I do worry that it is going to oversaturate the fantasy genre, but they are very different. Whereas AOS is more unit focused, this is battalion, whole squad focus, and they're very different. They play very differently. Whereas Horus Heresy and 40k are very similar. I mean, it uses basically the same models, except they're just different. I do hope, for the sake of the old world and for AOS, that the old world doesn't have any more major updates. They've brought the Grand Cathay Battalion there, as you can see. I hope they release a couple more models for that, just flesh out the range, and then they just leave it. Leave it for a few years, maybe update some rules to kind of make sure everything's balanced and enjoyable. But just kind of leave it there. Leave it as like a legacy game mode you can always go and pick up. And that should be it. Focus on AOS 40k. Obviously, moving on, you've got Middle Earth, as you can see. We won't look into that. It's kind of I don't really even count that as a main game system. It's not really played. It's kind of dead. They do release stuff. Some of the stuff's cool there, but you have to be really a Lord of the Rings fan. I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, but not in the minis, even though that's my entry to 40k and Games Workshop. I don't know, how old am I? 25 years ago. Obviously, you got all the other systems, and I appreciate like Warcry and Kill Team because those feed directly into Age of Sigmar 40k, and you can use those models. I appreciate that. I am just concerned with the upcoming releases that Games Workshop are going to oversaturate themselves, and they're not going to learn from this Horus Heresy mistake. This release is detrimental. They've wasted a lot of money. A lot of hobby shops have wasted their money. And unfortunately, when you are a hobby shop, quite often you've got to buy all the stock that you are offered, or at least a considerable amount, because you want to make sure you keep getting offered stock. But then you might be running out of loss just to get rid of the stock to kind of replenish your funds to be able to buy more things. So Games Workshop need to watch what they're doing and watch what they're releasing, and maybe look into their current roadmap internally of what they're going to be releasing, and maybe rejig it. Maybe focus on some of the things that they will sell. Focus on what the community want, and listen to the feedback. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me share your thoughts. Share your thoughts with me. Can't even speak English. About what you think on the state of Warhammer and all the different game systems, and do you think they're kind of focusing on too much now? They're starting to get a bit too greedy, because back in the day they got a bit too greedy when Middle Earth dropped, and then they made so much success from that, because I'm sure a lot of people would have gotten in during that phase, and then they spent too much money, and then they went for real dire financial positions where they couldn't really operate fully. And I hope we're not heading back there where they're oversaturating themselves right now. Just focus on the winners. Make sure everyone's getting love. Everyone in 40k loves to, I don't know, FOMO buy something else. And I'm trying not to FOMO buy, and I recommend you actually don't buy everything. But if they want to make money, I don't know, just release what the people want. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thanks.